excuse me, is there a doctor in the house? Actually, there is. Dr. Rand Paul. And once again, he is proving his worth to the conservative movement. While I could talk ad nauseum about the number of feckless wimp Republicans who have zero backbone, zero real core character to fight back on the incoming onslaught of the real invasion which has taken place on Capitol Hill, not some phony made up Trump insurrection, but rather an invasion of socialism brought in vast form now through the acceptance of the Biden occupation. There are some who are pushing back, and Rand Paul is one of them. This week, he got a chance to interview Biden's pick to be the Secretary of Education, and it was absolutely classic.
What do you think in general about boys running in girls' track meets like they've been doing in Connecticut?
I think that it's critically important that education systems and educators respect the rights of all students, including students who are transgender, and that they are afforded the opportunities that every other student has to participate in extracurricular activity.
Does it bother you that like the top 20% of boys running in track meets beat all of the girls in the state, and that it, would be, completely destroy girls' athletics? The girls are being pushed out. If they don't make the finals in the state meet, they don't get college scholarships, that it's really detrimental to girls' sports. Do you worry about having boys running girls' track meets?
I recognize and appreciate the concerns and the frustrations that are expressed. I've, as Commissioner of Education, have had conversations with families who have felt the way you just described it, and families of students who are transgender. So I understand that this is a challenge. I look forward to working with you and others to.
Do you think it's fair to have boys running in the girls' track meet?
I think it's appropriate I think it's the legal responsibility of schools to provide opportunities for students to participate in activities, and this includes students who are transgender.
So you don't have a problem then with boys running in the girls' track meet, swimming meets, name it. You're okay then with boys competing with girls?
Respectfully, Senator, I think I answered the question. I believe schools should offer the opportunity for students to engage in extracurricular activities, even if they're transgender. I think that's their right.
All right. Well, a lot of us think that that's bizarre, not very fair. I come from a family that has a lot of girls who have competed in college athletics, have been state champions, and frankly, some boy that's 6'2" competing against my 5'4" niece doesn't sound very fair. I think most people in the country think it's bizarre, that it's just completely bizarre and unfair that people, and you're going to run the Department of Education, you've got no problem with it. That concerns me, and I think this kind of thing is going to lead to really just the vast majority of America just wondering, who are these people that think it's okay? From what planet are you from? I mean, to think it's okay that boys would compete with girls in a track meet, that somehow would be fair. I wonder where feminists are on this. I wonder where the people who supported women's sports are on this. I mean, we all going to be okay with hulking 6'4" guys, wrestling against girls? It just makes no sense whatsoever. And so I think the fact that you seem to be afraid to answer the question, or you basically do answer the question by saying it's okay without saying it's okay, really is a statement to a real problem we have, and a disconnect between what middle America and what most Americans actually believe. I even think most Democrats don't believe girls should run in the boys' track meet. Boys should run in the girls' track meet. So I'm disappointed in the answer, and I just can't imagine that we're going to have a policy like that nationally.
Yeah, where are the feminists on this? We have spent so much time, and there's been so much propagated through the years about inequality, and we need to make things equal, and we need to make things right, and he is so right. The physical difference between a 16-year-old male and a 16-year-old female. Look, you want to talk about science? We need to follow the science. We need to follow the science. That's what the left is always telling us. We need to follow the science. We need to follow the science. Okay, You either have a XY chromosome or you don't. That's science. You are either male or female. You're not one of a dozen different loosely defined gender fluid species out there. And if you truly are, quote, a man trapped in a woman's body, once your mother gives birth to you, you will no longer be a man trapped in a woman's body. This level of do we just call it what it is? Perversion. And this is what we're supposed to be united under now. That we must conform to this. That we must accept the abnormal as normal. Young people, older people, anyone struggling with, I don't know if I'm a boy or girl, and going alone in a men's room or a woman's room and disrobing and looking at themselves, they can't determine which they are. They need help. They don't need enablement. They don't need validation. And they certainly don't need us to lie and say, you know what, you're right. You really are a girl. You really are a man. Even though you're really not. Rand Paul pushed back on it. We'll see in this new age now of everybody being censored, and silenced, just how long that's allowed to go on. Just a quick rant. Thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my next rant.